Hey everyone, welcome, I'm MisterBo, and in today's video we've got a few things to go over. We're going to be talking about what Dragon Mines is going to look like in the full game. We're going to be talking about a character that has now been confirmed to be in Nitro-Fueled that wasn't in the original game. We'll briefly be talking about the soundtrack for Nitro-Fueled as well, and then at the end we have a brand new teaser for Fake Crash, which we'll be looking at and dissecting. So to begin with, most of the information we're going to be talking about in this video comes from an interview with Thomas Wilson, the co-director of Beenox, and this interview was actually uploaded by another YouTuber called Canadian Guy A, who managed to sit down with him at PAX East and basically ask him a load of cool questions. So go ahead and check that video out, it'll be linked in the description below. So without further ado, let's hop into this information. Let's start off with the soundtrack, because it's a big part of Crash Team Racing and Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled. Now, when the Spyro Reignited trilogy came out last year, it featured an option where you could basically flick between the new remastered soundtrack as well as the old original soundtrack. And well, you're going to be able to do the exact same thing in Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled. If you want to, you can listen to all of the tracks redone, new and shiny for Nitro-Fueled, but maybe you don't want that. Maybe you want the classic original tracks. You can switch to that. We don't know if it's going to be something that can happen on the fly with the press of a button or if it'll be an option in the menus, but it's still a cool feature to have nonetheless. From there, we can then talk about, I think, the thing that everyone has kind of been asking non-stop since basically this game was announced, and that is, are we going to be getting extra characters beyond the original roster of Crash Team Racing? And with the announcement of Nitro Kart karts and tracks making their way into Nitro-Fueled, that also brought up the question yet again. Now, there was an article that went around a couple of weeks ago that was translated from French, which seemed to confirm that characters from Nitro Kart were going to be present in Nitro-Fueled. However, in the Activision press release, it didn't mention anything about those characters. So it was asked in this interview, are we going to be seeing Crunch as a playable character in Nitro-Fueled? And the answer was a resounding yes. Now that is pretty big news. Obviously, Crunch wasn't in the original trilogy, he wasn't in the Insane trilogy, so it's going to be a completely brand new model for this character. So I think that's pretty safe to assume we are getting the rest of the Nitro Kart roster, so that will include Entrance, Zam and Zem, and then I guess small mini Velo, and who knows, we might even get the boss races as well. That would be kind of cool to see. But I think another thing the announcement of Crunch in Nitro-Fueled does is basically almost confirm that we are going to be getting characters like Embryo, Torna, Koala Kong and Komodo Mo, because they've already got the models waiting there that were used in Insane Trilogy. They can just bring them over. Obviously they're still going to have to do the voice acting and the animations and everything like that, but it's a lot easier to bring a character from another game into this instead of making a model from scratch. So I think it's probably around 90% that we're going to be getting those 4 characters as well. And if all of these characters do end up making their way into Nitro-Fueled, not only do we have a crazy amount of tracks, we're also going to have a pretty big character roster as well. Now, speaking of tracks, there are still a few tracks from the original Crash Team Racing we have yet to see in Nitro-Fueled. We've yet to see a proper look at Tiny Arena, a proper look at Mystery Caves, and we have seen nothing of Dragon Mines currently. Well, in this interview we got a little bit of a sort of tease about what we can actually expect with Dragon Mines. Now obviously it's Komodo Joe's boss track, that's the track you play on when you race him, and in this interview they talked about how they're sort of bringing more story, character and life into some of these tracks. And with Dragon Mines, they're adding this story that the miners that you'll see that are mining on rocks and things like that are getting jewels, but they've dug down deep enough to where they've actually discovered a dragon, and you'll have this sort of dragon somewhere on the map, which is really cool to see. He also mentioned you're going to see a lot of sort of gold jewelry and stuff like that, so a little bit more brighter color. It sounds like a really cool track, and I can't wait until we actually get a glimpse of this. Now obviously there's also a lot of other stuff in that interview, but as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, go ahead and check out that full interview for yourself. Again, the link is in the description below. Now moving on from there, we got a teaser on April 1st for Fake Crash. Now this is a small teaser. I would assume we're probably going to be getting a character trailer in maybe a couple of days. But what we did get is we got an image of Fake Crash, and then we got a brief teaser trailer for Fake Crash where we see him on the starting line. Firstly, the character model looks really good. They've given him sort of droopy ears, seems like a bigger nose. He looks just kind of like an updated Fake Crash, and that's super cool to see. I think Fake Crash had one of the best voice lines in CTR, and hopefully he sounds fairly the same in Nitro-Fueled as well. Now the other addition in this teaser is a look at a track we haven't seen yet from Nitro Kart, and that is Jungle Boogie. Now they're sticking with the jungle Aztec pyramid kind of theme. They're not doing something as drastic as what we saw with Electron Avenue, or at least it seems like that from what we see here. They've still got those Aztec sort of structures, but it seems like they're adding these sort of green lights which kind of give it that alien vibe, because of course these tracks aren't on Earth, they will take place on different areas. Jungle Boogie, for instance, takes place on Terra, so it's probably going to include some of those same vibes that we see in Papu's Pyramid, but more with an alien twist to them, hopefully. Again, we'll have to wait and see. We might get a better look at Jungle Boogie in a couple of days if we get a character trailer for Fake Crash. Now speaking of Crash Nitro Kart, in my previous videos when we've had a glimpse at a track from the original Crash Team Racing, I've always done a side-by-side comparison of Nitro-Fueled versus the original. Now I don't currently have access to Nitro Kart, but I can get access, so I'd love to know in the comments below, would you like to see comparisons between Nitro Kart tracks and Nitro-Fueled tracks as they get revealed? If so, let me know and I can certainly try and get that up and running like I do for my previous videos. And also, do you mind seeing original footage in some of these videos? Obviously I don't want to put the same trailer on repeat over and over again. There's only so much footage of Nitro-Fueled that I can use, so let me know if you mind or not seeing footage from Crash Team Racing original and then maybe Nitro Kart if I can get it up and running. Let me know your thoughts on everything that I covered in this video today, and if you guys enjoyed it, feel free to give the like button a big old hug. If you're new around here, feel free to subscribe for coverage on a variety of different games. We've got Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled, we're going to be doing Borderlands 3 stuff, we're going to be covering Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order when that gets revealed in a week or so, and then I'm sure there's going to be a ton of other games going into the end of the year as well. And if you do subscribe, also be sure to boop that bell icon, because then you'll be notified when those videos do go live. But thanks for hanging out with me, and hopefully I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.